So it is now commonly known that the Fisker Ocean has a problem with water intrusion into electrical cables. And in the front part, it has been identified that there is a problem with the drain down from this trough or cowl at the bottom of the windshield. And there's a few different methods of solving the problem. None of it is super easy. And I have a method, I think it's the third method I have seen, of trying to use a hose, actually two on each side, to direct the water to where I would like it to go instead of randomly. What I got was some clear hose. It's a 1/4 inch outer diameter and a little bit less on the inner side. And I'll try and show you how to do it. I've done it now on the other Ocean, and on the right hand side of this one. The left hand side is the trickier one, just because it's less space down by this windshield wiper down here. But it's the hole down here, the drain hole, that we would like to control the water, either by moving it or putting a hose in, or put a dam down further down. I'm going to do the hose. So down here is what I have done so far on the left hand side. I know it's not much to see, but it is actually two of these hoses sticking out of the little hole we have for the drain down there. It does not require any drilling, and we just thread the hose down the hole and seal with some silicone. And I'll show you on the tricky side, which is, at least on the left-hand drive cars, is on the left-hand side or the driver's side. This side is easy. If you can do the one on the driver's side of this car, you can easily do this one. And I'll show you where the water goes at the end. So I took off the wheel. Of course, I lifted the car with a jack. I put a little jack stand underneath the control arm there. And I have removed all the fasteners. We got 6 of these plastic fasteners. 4 in here, 2 small ones up here, 2 here, and there's 2 underneath the car. We have 7 of these small nuts. They're here inside the wheel well. And then we have 8 of these screws, whereof 2 of them are underneath the car as well. So 6, 7, 8 of these fasteners is what you should remove, and we can now take out this inner liner, which is pretty easy. First, just pull it towards you here. It might be a little bit dusty. So pull it off these screws where the nuts were on, push it forward. Do the same on this side. Pull it off. Let start sticking out, and then push it away, and it is out. After we get our hoses down through the windshield, I am gonna get it through this hole here. So this little oval shaped hole is where my hose is gonna come down. I'll lead it over here, tied a little zip tie to this plug, and then route it down and tie it to here with zip ties, and the 2 hoses will be sticking down here so the water can drain down here. So these are the hoses I'll be threading through the hole. I found that about 80 centimeters or 32 inches is adequate. You can trim it off a little bit when you get to it. And I'm going to use some black silicone to seal up the hole. I'll add that to the hoses after I got it in a hole, but not all the way down. I'll be using this grass trimmer string to pull the hoses through the hole. And to make sure I get this grass string the right direction, I'll be using this. I think it's like a the cable guide for bicycle brakes. So it's a hollow steel pipe, which is flexible, and this grass trimmer string fits perfectly inside. So I'm going to use this one to thread through the hole first, and then use this one to pull the hoses. So first I'll attach this one to the hose, and I just use a screwdriver, pierce a hole in one hose, and do it to the other one as well. I did it with the screwdriver sideways. I'm hoping that will reduce the chance of it tearing. So far I've been lucky and it held up. So string through one, and you could probably use a fishing line too, I assume. I think it just have to be something kind of slippery and not too flexible. I found that it's a long time ago, I was fishing last time, but if you kind of wrap it around itself a couple of times here, 3 times to do it. Come on. So now it's wrapped around like that. So you got a little noose or loop, and that should be good enough. And then I'm threading this one. This is very long. It does not need to be that long, but I don't want to cut it either. So this is just to get it the right way. So now my hose is prepared and ready to be pulled. This might be coming loose. I should probably tie that one more time. Make it a little bit longer. Come on. There you go. I think that should do it. So I'm here with my tools and the hose that is supposed to be threaded through the hole. This is the one we're going to be doing the threading with. I like this one because it's rigid and yet flexible, but it's not too soft. When we get it through the hole down here, right next to the windshield wiper, you cannot just go straight through the hole. It will hit a snag. So to get around that, you have to kind of bend it backwards and a little bit inward. So bend it a little bit towards the cabin and a little bit towards the center, and it should go in easy. So I will try and do that again. Get it through the hole. I'm hoping I'm not grabbing too much. So I'm reaching in, and then so I'm just pushing up so that, and now it seems like it's coming through, and it's out on the other side. So and now I got it through the hole I showed you earlier, a little oval hole up here. So I'll pull this one through, all the way through, and now we have our wire. And it is as far as it can go. So now we have to massage it a little bit to get it further. So now, as you can see, the hose goes down to the hole but won't go through yet. On the previous car when I tried, I used a screwdriver to try and squeeze it through the hole initially. On the other side here, I could actually do it with my fingers because there was room. I'm going to try and see if we can do that. So I'm having some tension on the string in the bottom, and I'm going to reach in and see if I can push it down. I might be blocking the view, but I'm trying with my fingers to see if I can get it through the hole at the same time as I'm pulling on the string. It was easy on the other side, but there's not a whole lot of room here. Let me just take a look. I might have to go for the screwdriver. One of them went through. There you go. So a combination of pull a little bit and push a little bit, but they're now going through the hole. And I now have actually a grab of the hoses. So, onto about this point here. And now we're going to attach or put some silicone to them. So, now we're going to do the silicone. So, I got an old piece of paper, folded so I don't make too much mess of the car. And this one was the one the tube of silicone came in. Put these down here. And then I'll adhere a liberal amount of silicone to close to the tip on both the hoses here. So the idea is that as they get down close to the hole, silicone is going to get down, smear itself around, seal up the hole, and then hopefully we'll have a nice tight seal and water will only go through those hoses. When you pull it through, when it gets to the silicone, it actually gets kind of slippery. So don't pull too hard. Maybe have a pair of needle nose pliers handy so you can pull them back again if you think you get too deep. Otherwise, you can just pull them all the way out and start all over. No big deal. And when you get close to the very end, maybe push them with a screwdriver instead of pulling, because it seemed like there's a little bit better control that way. So now I will try and hold on to them a little bit here. And I'll start pulling. Good, further than the other one. Hoping I'm not blocking too much with my head. Get the screwdriver and push a little bit on this guy, a little bit on that guy. Of course, they're not going to be totally flush with the bottom because there's not a whole lot of material down there. But it's very close, and I think it'll be pretty good. Maybe wipe off some of the mess that I made down there. So here are our two hoses coming out. We've got the silicone up there. It's still not dry, so I don't want to pull on them. But I'm going to show you how I have routed it down here.
And why didn't you use one big hose instead of?
So originally I had a plan to have a pretty big hose, like a garden hose. I was hoping that I could route it up this way and attach it with a little clip up underneath the hole. But the geometry of the path from the hole down to here was not so that you could get a big fat hose up. I went to Home Depot and got 2 different sizes. The one I used, and then this one that's a little bit bigger. I was hoping that maybe this one would work, but it seemed like when...
What size is that?
This one is 3/8 inch.
What size you used?
I think it was 1/4 inch. Let me see here. 1/4 inch. It seemed like the thicker one is also harder, and I was feeling that even if it was just going to be squeezed through the hole, I had to drill the hole a little bit bigger, and I was afraid that as is get the same shape as the other hole, maybe it was too small. 2 hoses work fine. It seemed like these hoses are a little bit softer because I guess the sidewalls are a little bit thinner. I don't know if there's a benefit. Of course, a bigger hose will be less likely to get clogged up. But if you had 2 hoses, maybe one get clogged up and the other one does not. This was as good as I could do it to my after my testing without drilling holes. The initial attempt on the other Ocean, I did drill the holes a little bigger, and I used a little bit bigger hose on the right hand side, but it's so difficult to drill the hole bigger on the driver's side. So I decided that don't touch the hole, just find something that will go through it, and hopefully it will work out fine. I think that a grass trimmer string or whatever can be used to clean it out if it gets clogged with something, or a little bit of compressed air. So I think it's going to work out good. Anyhow, on to mounting this here. So I'll just cut these here off. We don't need the little string anymore. And I'll cut it to length in a little bit. But I need a little bit of zip ties. The way I found that I thought it was good, you could of course just route it down here and then take it to the bottom of the inside of the liner. I took it over here. I tied to this little plug. Of course, there is a chance that, say, if I didn't do a good job with the silicone sealing part, some water might be running next to the hose. But I'm hoping that, I'm expecting that if I'm attaching to the bottom side, the water will also be running on the bottom side of the hose. So if anything is on the outside running along the hose, it should still not be getting into any of the electrical wires here. Trying to get this one, probably take it on the other side here. Come on. One there. So I have it up there a little bit. You don't want to really make it tight. You don't want to squeeze them, but just so it's kind of guided in the right direction. That should be good enough. Cut that one off. And then 2 more zip ties. Taking it behind the brake line. So first one. Around this bracket. And then the second one around the hoses. Through that first zip tie. So now these two can help each other. So I'll just hold this one up to the edge while I'm tightening the one that is on the bracket. So that one is there. And then I'll cut these hoses like that. It's probably fine. And any water that comes down from the windshield should not be running down here and coming out where it does no harm. All we got left now is to put our inner liner back on and the wheel back on, and it is done. So now I'm going to put on the inner liner here for the wheel well. I guess if you took it off, you can probably put it back on again. I'm just going to point out a few things I noticed. To me, it felt like it was easiest to start with the rear part. So I've been putting it on from this side first. I'll get this one up here. And these in there. So it's kind of in place. And the tricky part, now you want to get these little studs back in the holes. Just bend it a little bit. It is stiff but tough. When you get the first here, the rest come easier. And you can see, even though you bend it pretty good, when you get it back in, it is in the right shape. The one in the front is easier. That's one hole, 2 and 3. I felt that the best way sequence would be to put the plastic fasteners up top first, because you have to align the holes, and they're the smallest of the fasteners. Some of them have a big round center, the other one's a little bit smaller. Otherwise, they all look almost the same. The head is a little bit smaller. The 2 up top, push the line a little bit out towards you, push the insert in, or the big piece in first, and then the centerpiece, squeeze it in. Same on this side here. Make sure the hole's aligned. And you got 2 in the front here. And then 2 in the bottom. I'll take them after a little bit. Then I'm gonna get my little screw machine and put in the screws. Just make sure you have the little nut plate in place. Sometimes they get loose and like to slide off. Oops. Come on. Sometimes you have to squeeze it a little bit. There you go. See the whole line up. and then 2 for the bottom, and then we have the little nuts left. I'll change the socket to change to a 10mm for the little nuts, and yeah, I squeeze push the fabric a little bit of felt so that it's in the right position. I don't know if it makes a big difference, but at least the screw is not pulling it into position that way. Oops. 3 more. And then just the ones underneath. You don't need to film that, I guess, unless you want to. So I'll put on the wheel, and then we'll wait about 24 hours for the silicone to dry completely, and then we'll continue the video and demonstrate how well it drains. It's now been 36 hours since we put our hoses in with some silicone glue, and it's all tight and sealed. And I'm gonna test and demonstrate how well it works, and you can decide if you want to do the same. 2 identical cups, 1 full of water, 1 empty. Nothing is this one. This one has water in it. I'll put this one in to try and catch as much as I can, and we'll film it from in underneath the wheel, behind the wheel, underneath the car, as I'm pouring it in up top, and we'll see if it catches it all. I'll put the pup in here.
Ready.
So now we're just going to show how it drains down the hole from up above. I'm going to demonstrate with a cup of water on the right hand side of the windshield for the drain. See how well it drains. I'm pretty pleased with how fast it goes down.